Hello and welcome to Only Stupid Answers. My name is Sam Bashor.
And I'm DJ Wooldridge.
Today we're talking about Stargirl. Spoiler free, do not worry. We were able to get an exclusive preview of the first couple episodes of season 1 that will be hitting the CW and the DC Universe app very soon, early May.
Yes.
It's very exciting. And we want to dive into it. Now, again, no spoilers because this show has been in the works for 30 years, 15 years? And we've been hearing about it for a long time. And I got scared we weren't ever going to see it. But once we saw that first trailer early 2020, and with the announcement that it was coming to CW, I thought that meant something scary. But after now watching this first couple episodes, I now understand why they chose to air it not only on the CW, but also to get as many people's eyes on the show as possible.
Yes.
Because it is different from what DC Universe has put out so far.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really fair to say because a lot of the DC Universe app stuff has skewed more adult. The Titans Notorious Batman line, and then Doom Patrol deals with some very adult themes, and Harley Quinn is an adult animated series. And this is not like it skews towards a younger audience. I was telling you before we started recording that I thought it was very smart that they kind of couched this take on Stargirl, played by Brec Bassinger. In this, the tone is very similar to like classic 80s Amblin, kids on an adventure in danger, that type of movie. So like there's a reference to Goonies in the first episode. Like it reminded me of that, and like E.T. or Poltergeist, where it's very kid-centric, but some of the kids curse. Ooh, you know what I mean? So it's for kids, but like kind of plays to all ages, I think.
Yeah, no, and the production value, I was reading a follow-up review as well from, I'm blanking on who I was reading, but they mentioned it was just kind of refreshing to see a CW show or even a superhero show that didn't have the Vancouver backdrop for a second.
Yeah.
Like it felt warmer, it felt just different, and it kind of immediately gives it like a breath of fresh air. A good chunk of this first episode is set in Los Angeles, regardless if we actually shot there or not. At least immediately felt like, okay, we're not in made up city. Like these are realish places, which for me, it was a little relieving because it just meant that we were going to be able to see something new. And it's very reassuring that like DC Universe is willing to invest, and CW as well, in more kid-centric entertainment, because CW is like the tween, teen, young adult network.
Yeah,
they accepted it. We accepted it by watching some of their content. Like we live with it. That's what we got. That's fine. But it's nice to see the DC Universe, an app that is meant for all DC fans, actually making a show with a high budget that is aimed towards a younger audience, and they've got a star-studded cast. There are so many big names in there. We got Joel McHale, we got Amy Smart, and the biggest get of them all is one of the Wilsons.
Yes.
Can you believe it?
Can you believe it? Yeah, Luke Wilson plays Pat Dugan. And for those that are not familiar with Stargirl was created by Geoff Johns. It's based on his sister, who unfortunately passed in a tragic accident. And so this character, Courtney Whitmore, carries on the mantle of a classic golden age superhero called the Star-Spangled Kid. And his bit was basically he was a kid superhero with an adult sidekick. And so this takes that on, where the adult sidekick is now Courtney's stepfather. And she takes on the mantle of the Star-Spangled Kid as Stargirl, and goes off on adventures with the Cosmic Staff, which has played a big part in DC Comics for a long time. And so this series takes that comic book premise and adapts it to this show, mostly intact. I will say that the Justice Society has been modernized a little bit. It's not exclusively like in the 40s. Like the farthest we've gone back so far in the first few episodes is like 10 years. And it's kind of about continuing that legacy. And so it's very much in Geoff Johns' wheelhouse, because not only is it a character he originally created, Stargirl, but he's wrote Justice Society for a long time. He's got a lot of love for those characters. I think his first foray into TV was when he wrote that Justice Society two-parter for Smallville. So we're right in that sweet spot. And I don't know about you, Sam, but you watched the first 3 episodes that were given to critics. I've only watched the first episode, so I'm still kind of fresh. That first episode reminded me a lot of watching the Flash pilot, in that there was like, there's a very clear take on this character. And it's not a surprise because it's also written by Geoff Johns. But how did you feel watching it?
Well, no, it's similarly to the Flash pilot, it felt like a full movie, or it felt like the pitch for a movie where it was like, we're going to do the origin. He's going to get the costume. He's going to get a really cool moment. They're going to set up some villains, and you get it. Like by the end of the first episode of The Flash, you knew what was in store for the rest of the season. You feel the same way at the end of the first episode of Stargirl. You understand a little bit of what her abilities are. You shoot lasers. You fly on a witch's broom. You get it. And it's still cool. It's insane, the production value that went into this, because like there's certain times you see, like for Titans and Doom Patrol, like you can kind of see the edges of the CG budget. But I think the partnership with CW or DC or what have you, maybe just longer times rendering. Who can say? Because I can't explain it. But the production value of the show is really impressive, especially the way that the Cosmic Staff and Courtney interact with one another.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to like her gymnastic background, that she's uses that to her advantage when it comes to using the Cosmic Staff to either fight people or fly around or just do tricks. There's like throughout the first 3 episodes, there's multiple like not training montages, but moments where she's just like playing around with it and just like on it and flipping with it and like having it catch her as she jumps off buildings and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like it feels very like Harry Potter-esque. Or you mentioned like other what is it, like Amblin like 80 kids discovering magical item thing, more positive Stranger Things, if you will.
Yes.
And especially an impressive element was how they set up the Justice Society. And based on trailers, I think it's fair to say that they're not around. They're not around anymore. But they were taken out by the Injustice Society. I think it's what they end up calling
Which,
them.
by the way, no spoilers, but there was a couple like, oh, one in particular, when we see a little bit of the villains, I was like, oh, very exciting.
Yeah, no, I think I know who you're talking about too. Because when you hear it and you kind of see him and you're like, okay, this is a cool addition.
Yes.
And it looks very comic accurate.
Yes.
I'll leave it at that. That was pretty cool. But also, as soon as you see all the villains and all the Justice Society together, you're like, wow, this is actually like fully realized.
Yeah.
They're all like comic accurate's annoying, but like when I see it on like Instagram and stuff, they're like, look, they're gonna do the blue speedster from Flash, and it's like, okay, how do I make Instagram stop showing me these?
How do I say no, thank you?
No, thank you. But no, when you do see like Dr. Midnight and Starman, and I think it's fair to say, I was trying to think of one villain that it's okay to say, Icicle.
Yeah,
I think it's okay to say Icicle because he's been advertised, and also is his Justice Society. That's a good one to pick.
Yeah.
Usually, that's probably going to show up in one of these things in some form or another. I was really impressed with that, and also, I also like the setting a lot because we start off like in the New 52. Stargirl was like set in Los Angeles, and she was like the teen TV sweetheart who's also a superhero. Like she even has like braces, like she's like she's in like 17 magazine and everything. So in this, I like that we start there but end up having her become a fish out of water in a small town in America, which it's like a sweeter moment. She gets a chance to start over and make new friends, and I already like throughout the first couple episodes you get to meet some of those people. You're like, I'm trying to figure out which version of the superhero you're going to be. I can't tell you, but I think I'm starting to get a sense of who's going to be who.
Yeah.
But I do like that as a setting because it allows like all the characters to reestablish themselves and try to create new relationships, and also it allows them to maybe get to know other people hidden in the town. I'll say it that way.
Yeah, because there's
hidden there.
Yeah, there definitely appears to be a mystery going on in Blue Valley, Nebraska. But I really agree with you. Like when you see some of the stuff with Justice Society, it also reminded me of the first episode of Legends of Tomorrow, where you see all the legends doing their thing, and you're like, oh, we're doing it. This is happening on TV. Like, this is crazy.
That was really.
And then, but also, I think when it comes to a lot of superhero material, a lot of the plot stuff and a lot of the power stuff it can be kind of, repetitive or whatever. I think where a lot of superhero stuff sings is if it can make you care about the people, about the characters. And I was very impressed with this pilot's ability to have me care about Brec Bassinger's Courtney. Like, I really invested in her. Like you said, the moments where she's learning how to use the staff are really engaging. But also I really liked, it's Luke Wilson. He's super likable, but like the tone he hits of like, fun, trying to be the fun dad with Pat Dugan was entertaining, and I am interested to see them flesh out his relationship with the Justice Society, because on the one hand it seems very sweet, and on the other hand it seems very sad. And I'm interested to see if there's specifically, we see a very little bit of his interaction with Starman, and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this, because it seems friendly, but also it seems kind of like a bummer. So I don't know if we're going to spend any time with that, or if it's just going to sit in that little uncanny valley there.
It feels like he's being taken advantage of a little bit, where he's like, no, it's cool. Like, I got to take their photos and carry their stuff and clean their costumes.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, like blows, man.
Yes.
It's like Snapper Carr, like the old like Justice League sidekick, the kid sidekick, where it's like this. Wait, I'm okay. And also, when we get into, we'll be doing spoiler reviews of this series as it comes out, just so you guys know.
Yeah.
But there are things I want to talk to you about when it comes to his relationship specifically with Starman, because they kind of dive into like what they meant to each other.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that like it means like a relationship, like a more like romantic relationship, and that's not what I mean.
Yeah.
But like I have questions about how they know each other.
Yes, agreed.
You know, they explain it, and I'm like, I still have like maybe I have a hang up that they're supposed to be like 1940s superheroes, and they're not.
Yes.
They're like 80, maybe 1970 if you want to push it, because they were kids. You know, like maybe that was what the age group was. But regardless, I'd say the one negative for me is the comedy in it, because it is aimed for a younger audience. There are moments in the first like 3 episodes. There are like some like, it's more heartwarming, and I can enjoy that. I think it's when it's trying to be funny, busting balls, you know, like that kind of humor where they're like, we're making fun of everybody and we're being sarcastic, and it's like, yeah, sometimes works when it's like really tight.
Yeah.
Not the actors. I think the actors can do it. I think when it's just, because I've seen Luke Wilson be funny, and I'm sure the Brec Bassinger can really like deliver a funny performance. It feels like the writing is like not quite funny enough.
Yeah, maybe a little broad. I will say, for me, the part that didn't quite click for me, unsurprisingly, based on my interest, was all the high school stuff. Like, once we kind of I like the setting, and I like some of the characters you introduced, but it's just like, oh, high school. It's movie high school. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, you're the jerk jocks and all the cheerleaders. It's like, all right, let's get back to the other stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. And the other stuff is, and I'd say in those first 3 episodes, while there is a fair amount of school stuff happening, and I like that there's an emphasis on that, where it's like, you need an education. We're not going to let you like run off and be a superhero, but like it is some of the weaker elements. But I am excited about the setup because of the tease in Crisis on Infinite Earths. We know that there will be younger iterations of Justice Society members.
Yes.
People taking up the mantle of, like, we saw like a younger version of like Dr. Midnight and Wildcat at the very least.
Yeah, you're talking about that Crisis of Infinite Earths tag. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like we at least know there's that many. Like, there could be more.
Yes.
But that's the kind of stuff I'm excited about, and to get to know those characters. And I will say, in the first 3 episodes, you do get to in the trailer they show the famous photo of like the Justice Society around the table.
Yes.
And so you could get to see that, and it's like this moment of like realization that like, wow, they did it. They finally got like the Justice Society looking cool, looking cinematic. And like, I want to know more about those characters, of course. And we'll definitely get like flashback episodes, you know, like every once in a while, like maybe with like a mission or whatnot, to like, because you have to, you know, like you have to, you got it, please, for me. But I am excited to see how this new generation is formed, because also like, that's crazy. We didn't get to this point in the comics.
Yes.
Like, we got one younger version of a character. We got 2, I guess. You have like Jakeem, who was the new like Johnny Thunder. Yeah. And then you have Stargirl. But besides that, there's not like newer iterations. I mean, there's Green Lantern.
Yeah, and there was a younger Wildcat, but that she was replaced by, I mean, the original Wildcat came back, of course. So, no, I agree with you. And I will say, for fans of the CW shows, there is a small Easter egg for you that might have implications for those shows, but maybe not, you know, now that we know that it is that multiverse is Earth 2.
Mm-hmm. I'll have to ask you about that afterwards.
Yes.
And also, that's kind of fun too, since it's Justice Society centric. That makes sense.
Yes.
In the comic, Justice Society or version of them live on Earth too, and they didn't set that up on the Flash or Legends. They kind of got a little lost there, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. We got this, and also I know there's been talks of, or there were possibly plans of doing a crossover this season of the Flash with this first season of Stargirl.
Cool.
And that would have been really cool. I don't think that's gonna happen now.
Why, Sam? What's going on in the world that will cause that to not happen?
Couldn't say. I haven't looked outside in a few days, so who's to say? But that's a very good pairing. I would not mind those two shows like teaming up, or Supergirl and Stargirl. I think that'd be really cool as well. But I'm willing to invest in the show a little bit more because we used to do a show called Super TV Showdown where we'd watch all the CW shows, and now we gotta take a break because that's a lot.
It was a lot.
But with this show, you can see that there's a lot of love and there's a very clear vision, and that's when all the CW shows have been best. When there's like a very clear direction of where they want their characters to go in a season. So I'm willing to give it the time to check out the rest of the season, and I'm excited for it because I think with this kind of budget, with these kind of actors, and this story is so interesting. I'm very on board to see what's next.
Agreed. Are you off the episodes they've given to critics? Are you willing to give an overall rating?
Yeah, I think it's fair to give it. You know what? Well, this doesn't suck, but at the end of episode 3, it finally gets to a moment where I'm like, oh,
nice.
What? Okay, like this could be really cool. And I'm bummed that like that's where I got up to episode 3.
Yeah,
that's all the.
And now you have to wait till May.
And I saw another review got 5 episodes, and I was like, what the other 2? Give me the other 2. I actually want to know what happens next. Like I love the setup for it. I think as a whole, I'd give the first 3 episodes like a 8.4.
Nice.
Like 8.4. It's like a B. It's a B, not a B minus. I think it can get better because of that Amblin entertainment energy that comes off this movie.
Yeah, I would give it an 8.5 as well. It's in the same ballpark.
Yeah. No, I feel like it has all the potential, it has the energy, and it has the momentum to kind of like build up to something really cool. And this could be the show that like starts like bridging the gap between all the other DC Universe shows if it has enough juice.
Yes.
Like it could really start bringing those together. I mean, Crisis on Infinite Earths kind of messed that up. I thought they were all in the same place, but apparently they're not. Nope, they're not. It's really confusing. But regardless, I am in. I'm interested to see what's next, and I want to hear from you guys. If you guys are excited for Stargirl, let us know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, subscribe, check out our Patreon. Lowest $5 a month. You can support us. I know times are tight, but we're doing live watch-alongs of Marvel movies and other movies, and we're doing Skype hangouts and a bunch of cool stuff. So don't miss out, and follow us on Twitter at Sam Bashor.
Hey, DJ Talks Trash.
At Only Stupid Answers.
You ain't got the vowels from stupid.
Bing, bang, boom. Gang, stay inside. Don't forget your mask. Drink some water. Watch Stargirl. Do all the good stuff. If you've watched the Disney Stargirl, I don't know what that is. Yeah. So let us know what that is compared to Stargirl. And we'll see you guys next time.
Any relation at all? Is there any?